Tonight, I'm joined now by the Shadow Chancellor, John McDonnell. Very good morning to you, Mr. McDonnell. It all seems to be falling apart. Isn't the game up for Jeremy?
No, Jeremy's not going anywhere. The sovereign body of our party are our members, and Jeremy was elected with, well, the biggest mandate any political leaders had from their own party only 9 months ago, so he's not going anywhere.
But the edifice is crumbling. We're just hearing in my ear, Gloria De Piero has gone. Much more to come. We mentioned there's seven. Well, could be a whole lot of them.
It's a
shame.
Maybe
not you. Okay. But it's crumbling.
No, it's a shame. It's a shame. I'm disappointed. And I'll tell you why I'm disappointed. It's that we've got a responsibility at the moment. The country is in a pretty perilous state after the referendum. We've got to negotiate a deal with Europe. Now's the time to recognise our responsibilities to the country, not get into party squabbles like this.
But it's a shame. The party's falling apart.
No, it isn't. The rank and file of the Labour Party, I think, will overwhelmingly support Jeremy Corbyn. Will form those ones who resign from Shadow Cabinet. They'll be replaced. It's disappointing. I'm really sad they have. But we'll move on.
You sound like Earl Haig in the First War. You know, people going over the top and getting mown down. There are plenty more. The Shadow Cabinet is falling apart. As I say, present company accepted. So many senior figures resigning or being sacked, and you're just saying, well, there's plenty more to replace them.
A number of people have stood down. The people who are the real decision makers in our party about who's the leader or not are our members. They made that decision 9 months ago. Now, if some members of the Parliamentary Labour Party want another leadership contest, well, that's up to them, and we can go ahead with that. But what I'm saying is it's a real pity, because now's the time when we've got a government in disarray, we've got huge issues to face as a result of what's happened after the referendum, particularly negotiating the best deal we can to protect our country. I think it's a real shame that people aren't stepping up to their responsibilities. People out there aren't interested in party squabbles. They want to see a decent opposition, a decent government.
OK, so are you saying then that even if the MPs, the Labour MPs, get Jeremy Corbyn to stand down, they get him out, there will, of course, be another leadership contest, you want to see Jeremy Corbyn stand?
I'll chair his campaign committee like I did last year, and I think the rank and file of the Labour Party membership will re-elect him. But if there's going to be a leadership election, let's go for it, and Jeremy will stand, I think he'll be re-elected. However, I think it's a real shame. I'm really disappointed, not at this point in time when the country needs us so much.
So you are saying to the MPs, you're out of touch with the membership?
I think what I'm saying to them, think very, very carefully about the situation our country faces at the moment. We have a bigger responsibility to the country than we do to internal party squabbles. Also, go back to your constituencies and consult your members as well. Let's take the heat out of this and everyone calm down. I think lots of people are very tired. They may not have slept since Thursday. I think they should all have a good night's sleep and all calm down.
Would you be a candidate if Mr. Corbyn decides, doesn't get on the ballot paper or decides he doesn't want to stand? Would you stand and represent those values?
Jeremy's not going anywhere. He'll be the candidate if there is a leadership election. I'll chair his campaign committee, and I'm not standing no matter what happens.
He'd be in a funny position, though, wouldn't he, with those MPs, so many of his MPs who have said explicitly now, we know what they've been saying behind the scenes for many, many months now, but to put it on the record that we do not support you, we don't want you as leader.
I think most of those MPs respect the views of their party members back in their constituencies and overall. I think they do. And I think if they've got anxieties at the moment, I'm just saying calm down, consult your members, and let's get on with the job of being a good opposition, but protecting the interests of our community and our country.
Well, this seems to flow from the criticism of Mr. Corbyn's campaigning and indeed how firmly he really did want the UK to remain within the European Union. What do you think of the fist he made of it?
I think he was in exactly the right position, because what he was arguing for, Hilary Benn led our campaign in the Shadow Cabinet, and what Jeremy was saying is, look, you've got to...
So it's Hilary Benn's fault?
No, I'm not blaming anybody. This isn't what this is about. What Jeremy was saying is that we've got to recognise that people have criticisms of the European Union. That's why we need to campaign for Remain and reform. And I think he took the right position. We lost it marginally. His job, he was told very explicitly, deliver Labour voters and deliver young people. They're the two target groups. Seven out of 10 Labour voters voted for Remain. 4 to 1 young people voted to Remain. He did his job. We couldn't win the argument, unfortunately. The tragedy of it is now, all those promises that people were given from the Brexit side are now being unpicked and reneged upon. I think that's a real tragedy. But we've got to deal with that now, and that's why I say The responsibility on our shoulders is now to the country, not to party squabbles.
Do you think there's an opportunity, I mean, personally, do you think there's an opportunity now to really develop socialism in an independent United Kingdom now we are about to leave the European Union?
I think we've got to develop a policy programme, negotiate it with the rest of Europe. Remember, we have good relationships with socialist and social democratic parties and progressive movements across Europe. I think we can get a good deal, but I think that the best deal will come from the left. It'll be one based upon cooperation. It'll be one that's anti-austerity and about long-term investment, particularly in those communities that voted for Brexit because they felt left behind.
And how do you address those that felt left behind and didn't vote for the view of the leadership? And, you know, there's one core message here. They said we have major concerns about immigration, and Jeremy Corbyn and you have been telling them all along, immigration is actually good for you. You've got it wrong. They're never going to swallow that, are they?
I think we've got to really listen to people. And Jeremy did a major speech yesterday on immigration, so we've got to go out there. Freedom of movement will go now because we're no longer part of the European Union when that negotiation.
Are you in favour of that?
No, I think what we've got to do is negotiate and consult with people on the fairest system where we get the benefits but we don't get the disbenefits. And I think that's going to be a tough negotiation to have. The issues that came up in the campaign was migrant labour unions trying to cut wages, pressure on public services and the loss of control. So those three issues we've now got to address.
OK, and how are you going to address them? Are you going to say if we do get a deal with the European Union that does have to involve freedom of movement, we can't have that deal?
Well, I don't think freedom of movement is on the table anymore, to be honest. The issue now is tackling that undercutting of wages, and that's about employment rights in particular, and that's about trade union organisation, I have to say. Pressure on public services, and that means if there is pressure on public services, partly as a result of government austerity, some parts because of migration, we invest in those public services. But in addition to that, that issue about how you create a non-discriminatory system is key, and we've got to listen to people on that.
And just back to your thinking there that there are plenty of Labour MPs. I mean, there is a finite amount, and, you know, we look at the shadow cabinet that was originally formed by Jeremy Corbyn, and there were an awful lot of people with a lot of experience who didn't want to serve under Jeremy. Some did. So this current crop, then, were all thought to be at least tolerant of Jeremy Corbyn's views. They have gone or are about to go, many of them. You're saying there's another lot?
Well, there'll be other MPs that are willing to serve because they have responsibility to the party. They respect the views of the party members.
You'll be stopping people in the street very soon to serve in the shadow cabinet.
Look, let's be serious about this. I'm really sorry people have resigned. It's a real shame. I'm so disappointed. But others will accept their responsibility, not just to their party, but more importantly to the country. We have a responsibility on our shoulders to protect our community now. OK, just want to put this to you, Mr McDonnell. As I mentioned, Gloria De Piero, the Shadow Minister for Young People and Voter Registration, has resigned, and this is something that she has had to say. I've always enjoyed a warm personal relationship with you, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve in your shadow cabinet. I accepted that invitation because I thought it was right to support you in your attempts to achieve the Labour victory the country so badly needs. I don't believe you can deliver that victory at a general election, which may take place in a matter of months. I've been contacted by many of my members this weekend, and it's clear that a good number of them share that view and have lost faith in your leadership. I mean, and that's the message we're going to hear many more times, it seems, today from these formerly loyal members of the shadow cabinet. You sat beside her and Heidi Alexander and others, and there is the looming general election, it seems. Do you think there should be a general election? Do you think in Jeremy Corbyn you've got the next Prime Minister? No, bring it on. Bring the general election on as soon as you like, as soon as the Tories like. If it is going to be November or next May, bring it on. Everyone has given Jeremy various electoral tests. Let's go through them. Oldham by-election, they said he wouldn't win that. He won it hands down. Parliamentary by-elections, he's increased the majority on every occasion. Local government elections, we won every mayor election. We matched Ed Miliband at his very highest election. Every electoral test he's won.
Well, excuse me, but it's rather trumped by the referendum campaign. He was on the Remain side.
That wasn't a party political campaign. It was one single issue. It wasn't a judgment on the Labour Party. It was a judgment of people on that particular issue. Every other electoral test, he succeeded.
So Jeremy Corbyn can win back all those people who defied his commands to vote for Remain. He can win them all back. All the people that didn't vote for Ed Miliband in the general election, and all the Scots voters that didn't vote for you either. He can win them back.
Look at his trajectory. In every election so far, we've won. In every electoral test, we've won, and we increased our majorities. I think we're on path to win a general election, but it requires two things: hard work to campaign and a united party. This, unfortunately, sets us back. So that's why I'm saying to Labour MPs, look, hold together. We've got tradition in our party called solidarity. We need solidarity
Hold
now.
together.